God didn't give him an inheritance there, not even a square foot of land. However, God did promise to give the land as his possession to him and to his descendants, even though Abraham had no child. God put it this way: his descendants will be strangers in a land that belongs to others, who will enslave them and abuse them for 400 years. And I will condemn the nation they serve as slaves, God says. And afterward they will leave that land and serve me in this place. God gave Abraham the covenant confirmed through circumcision. Accordingly, 8 days after Isaac's birth, Abraham circumcised him. Isaac did the same with Jacob, and Jacob with the 12 patriarchs. Because the patriarchs were jealous of Joseph, they sold him into slavery in Egypt. God was with him, however, and rescued him from all his troubles. The grace and wisdom he gave Joseph were recognized by Pharaoh, king of Egypt, who appointed him ruler over Egypt and over his whole palace. A famine came upon all Egypt and Canaan, and great hardship came with it. Our ancestors had nothing to eat. When Jacob heard there was grain in Egypt, he sent our ancestors there for the first time. During their second visit, Joseph told his brothers who he was, and Pharaoh learned about Joseph's family. Joseph sent for his father Jacob and all his relatives, 75 in all, and invited them to live with him. So Jacob went down to Egypt, where he and our ancestors died. Their bodies were brought back to Shechem and placed in the tomb that Abraham had purchased for a certain sum of money from Hamor's children who lived in Shechem. When it was time for God to keep the promise he made to Abraham, the number of our people in Egypt had greatly expanded. But then another king rose to power over Egypt who didn't know anything about Joseph. He abused our people. He exploited our people and abused our ancestors. He even forced them to abandon their newly born babies so they would die. That's when Moses was born. He was highly favored by God, and for 3 months his parents hid him in their home. After he was abandoned, Pharaoh's daughter adopted him and cared for him as though he were her own son. Moses learned everything Egyptian wisdom had to offer and was a man of powerful words and deeds.